Hey everyone, my name is Stephen Augustus. I'm the head of open source at Cisco, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about maintaining the maintainers, and also going to see if this slide clicker works. Yes, awesome. So hi, I am a maintainer. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the projects that I've worked on in the past. I'm going to do a quick run, and then I'm going to talk to some of the maintainers in the room, if that's cool. So that's me. Hi. I'm currently one of the steering committee members for Kubernetes, one of the SIG release chairs. So my team is basically responsible for releasing one of the largest software projects, open source software projects on the internet. And I'm also one of the release managers there. For the OpenSSF, I'm a governing board member. I'm also one of the scorecard maintainers for OpenAPI, part of the business governing board, as well as a DEX maintainer on the CNCF side. Previously, I was a chair for Tag Contributor Strategy, chair of SIG PM, chair of SIG Azure for Kubernetes. I founded the Inclusive Naming Initiative. I also founded a few things in Kubernetes. If you've heard of KEPS, you can blame me for that. The Release Engineering Subproject, as well as Working Group Naming, which was a precursor to Inclusive Naming Initiative. So I say all of that to say, I kind of look at things in three lenses. The lens of the contributor, the lens of a maintainer, and a lens of the sponsor. But again, I'm a maintainer, so we're going to talk about maintainers today. Can we do a little call response? Like, how many maintainers do I have in the room? Come on, come on. Shy maintainers today. No. Anybody who's looking to be a maintainer eventually? All right, all right. So maintainers tend to be passionate about the work, really generous with their time, and just always willing to roll up the sleeves. However, maintainers are also over-practiced in the art of self-sacrifice. They're usually not incentivized to work on sustainability work that's important for open source communities, and they're under-supported by companies who support open source projects. And last but not least, we're tired. We're kind of all the things that we pick up cause us to be tired all the time. So here's a list of things that have made our lives easier kind of within the last few years and just in general. We've got social unrest. We've got a pandemic. We've got burnout in general, right? So I think, just coming here from KubeCon, two of the talks that I wanted to highlight from friends. No one is saving us but us, from Paris Pittman and Tabby Sable, and How to Become an Open Source Mechanic from Emily Fox. I found that a lot of the time that I spent at KubeCon this time around was around things that have kind of fallen into the ocean. I think about Kubernetes, for example. A few years back, Google donated $9 million in GCP credits for the Kubernetes project, and we kind of have a stipend of 3 million credits, $3 million in credits each year. The Kubernetes project has gone more than $600,000 over that allotment for this year, and the year's not over. So things that we tend to not always think about, things that are not as shiny as we'd like them to be, like sustaining the infrastructure for an open source project, are things that are keeping maintainers up at night. So I would strongly suggest, once those talks are available on YouTube, go check that out. Really good talks, and I think overall the conversation at KubeCon was around sustaining maintainers, sustaining open source projects, and their maintainers. So for maintainers in the room, I'm going to ask you to try to save yourself. If you've been on a plane recently, when you get the safety video, it's like, hey, please affix your mask before helping others. So I want you to save yourself first. So things that you're not a project savior. You're not the only person who has the answer to every question that comes up, and you're not some magical being that has infinite time and resources. Right? So I want you to think about that every time you offer to pick up new things, right? The bus factor is always something that comes up, right? If you were to leave a project today for your own personal reasons or for otherwise, would it survive? And if not, why? If you're not asking yourself that question, you're not doing your job as a maintainer. So step one, don't lick the cookies. What do I mean by cookies? I think we get excited about new opportunities, new initiatives, and you're like, yes, I have that skill set. I'm going to jump right in. I can totally do that. Everything you sign up for comes with a cost, and that cost is distributed across whatever the new initiative is, all of the things that you have already signed up for, and your mental health. So stop signing up for things. As long as you cannot figure out how to scale yourself, try not to sign up for things. So step two is scaling yourself. And how do we do that? I don't think we have a finite list of ways to do that, but let's talk about a few. Are your responsibilities well documented? Are they well understood? Are they teachable? Are they mentorable? I think, for a project like Scorecard, I was talking about it previously, Scorecard and All-Star, I really love that there's this powerful concept where you can, if you're on GitHub, if you're on popular code hosting platforms, you can set policies against things like community health documentation, right? So does your repo have a contributing.md? Does it have a maintaining.md? Do I know where to go to find the maintainers? Do I know what to do when I need to report a security vulnerability? Do I understand what the code of conduct is for that project? Do I understand how to reach out to people if I need to report something related to that code of conduct? If you don't, that is a great place to start in terms of documenting what your responsibilities are. Are they well understood? If you are deep in the weeds, you're a technical lead for something, have you ever thought of taking the time to record a demo about how your piece of the project works, right? We talk a lot about one-to-one mentoring, right, and getting that FaceTime with individuals. Think about one-to-many. Think about what your group mentoring opportunities are. So this is recording videos. This is taking the stage and explaining a process to people. This is making sure that the documentation is so tight that people can teach themselves. And again, if it's not well understood, if it's not highly visible, people are much less likely to do that. So that's more or less it. Bob and I were talking about how his talk was going to be depressing, my talk was going to be depressing. So we were like, is anything going to? We're going to leave people at the end of the day with some depressing talks. But I'm going to leave maintainers with everything that we've talked about. Have we asked the same of our fellow maintainers? Because ultimately, we're the only ones who are going to save ourselves. And if you take the opportunity to have those conversations with your fellow maintainers, I guarantee you're going to find some gaps that you haven't seen before. So thank you for your time, and we'll catch you later. Enjoy the rest of ATO.